How did the Lochner Era influence economic freedom? Imagine a time when courts believed that the government should stay out of how people and businesses make deals. That was the essence of the Lochner Era, a period from the late 1890s to the 1930s. It all started with a case called Lochner versus New York. In that case, the Supreme Court struck down a law that limited bakers to working a certain number of hours each week. The court said that law interfered with the baker's right to make contracts freely. Back then, the court used what is called substantive due process to protect economic rights. This means certain rights are so fundamental that the government cannot take them away, even if proper legal steps are followed. During this era, the court believed that the right to freely enter into contracts was a core part of personal freedom. So, laws that regulated wages, hours, or working conditions were often declared invalid. This approach gave businesses and workers more control over their economic choices. It meant the government could not easily step in to set fair wages or limit working hours. The idea was that free contracts were the best way to keep the economy fair and efficient. But this also meant that many laws meant to protect workers from exploitation or unsafe conditions were struck down. The court saw these laws as unnecessary restrictions on individual liberty. Understanding this history helps us see how the Constitution can be interpreted to protect economic freedom. It shows that courts have at times viewed the right to make contracts as a fundamental liberty. But it also highlights a challenge. When courts focus only on formal rights, they might overlook the real power imbalances between employers and workers. Many workers had little real choice in their employment terms, even if the law treated them as equals. The influence of the Lochner Era was significant because it limited government's ability to regulate the economy. It expanded the idea that personal and economic freedoms are protected by the Constitution. However, it also raised questions about fairness and how best to protect vulnerable workers. This period reminds us that the way courts interpret rights can shape the balance between individual freedom and government regulation in the workplace.